4 pieces. Now we take this. Scribing tool. I forget the exact name of it, but this is for making sure that it smooths out the edges and make this stuff attach to your glass. So I'll show you really quickly. There's a peel and stick on the back. So if we get it started, there's the peel. And this stuff has like glue on the back of it that helps it stick to the glass. So again, starting top to bottom. So what I want to do is hide the edge so that it gets soldered really well. So I'm going to start in the middle of the piece so it doesn't let go if I don't get it on right. And you want to try and get it centered in the tape so that it goes on evenly on both sides of the glass. So I'll do this one and then I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. That way, down. Just trying to hold it stuck on so the adhesive can adhere to the glass. Adhesive adhere. Good Lord, Lester. What are these words? And all the way around. There. I'm overlapping the copper a little bit just to hide the seam. And find my scissors so I can cut this. Where have my scissors been? I have a bad habit of putting things away before I need to. Which isn't a bad habit, it's already put away, but just before I'm done using it. So I cut it off so I can overlap. Now as you can see, there's like a little overhang on the sides so that I can fold it down. So then I fold it down over the edge, like that. Over the edge, over the edge. So you have a nice clean cover side to side, and all the edges are covered. Squeezing it on nice and snug. Folding down any of the excess copper in the corners. So that it's nice and flat to the glass so it can take on solder. Now see, I've got it nicely wrapped. And then I'm going to take this little tool and I'm going to smooth it out so that all the glue can get into the cracks. Like this. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All the way along the edge. I'm going to lay it down flat. I'm going to smooth out all those little wrinkles. See the wrinkles that are in there? Try and smooth out all the little wrinkles so it looks nice and smooth from the solder. Make sure that seam is closed. That's one piece done both sides, so it's nice and smooth now, not so rigid, and that'll connect really nicely. So I'll put that off to the side, I'm going to do the other 3 pieces. And I don't have fingernails, this is the worst part for me. Oops, I already started it down there, yes! So next piece, all nice and dry. So same thing, it's going to go here. I don't want the seam to show, so I'm going to start my right in the middle of this here. So right in the center of it. I'll start because that'll cover up the seam. There. There. Around. There. 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 Ends right where I started. Again, overlap a little bit just to seal it up nicely, like so. And fold down the edges all the way around, including the corner points. Fold them down toward the glass. Looks pretty good, and smooth it out. Okay. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Smooth, smooth, smooth. I love stained glass. It's one of my favorite things to teach. Again, not so stroke friendly, but skill acquired nonetheless. Bring it all out, making sure it's stuck to the glass, and get some solder on there. Again, it looks like that. And then I'll show you the seams down here. So you can barely see that there's a seam there, and I'm going to cover it up with solder when I put it in between the two pieces of glass. There's another one, like so. Looks like that. Next one, bigger piece. Already started this now that I remember. And same idea, we want to start it somewhere where we can hide the seam. So it's flawless. So starting in the middle there, in the middle of where they connect, is where I'll start it. And then go here. All the way around. I almost bent my copper. Tape. Around, down. I'm surprised this stuff sticks. I haven't used it for a long time. But it still works. Down. Here. Down. To the center. And overlap just a little bit. Cut off the excess, like so. Slightly overlapped. I don't have enough on both sides, so I can backtrack. Once this stuff sticks, it sticks good. Don't want to tear it, because I have to redo the whole thing. You can redo stained glass, but you have to take it almost completely apart if you put it together right. It's like a puzzle. Tetris. Boom, boom, boom. Beautiful. Go over again. All the edges. First, the edges nice and sealed, and then flatten it out on the sides so that enough sticks out so you can see some copper, which is going to be covered with solder. Corner, flipped it over the edges. I'm always pushing it into the glass to stretch it. There we go. Make sure that that seam is really nice and tight. Beautiful. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Next one goes there. So you can't even tell I messed up the tip. Artists hide their mistakes. Ha ha ha. There and there. That looks like a good contact point. I'm going to put a lot of solder on those corners just to hold it perfectly. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There. One more piece. There. So again, this one's going this way. So my contact, where I'm going to start is in the center of that where it contacts the other one. So it holds the seams all nicely together. Artist hides their mistakes, or seams. Cover them up. There. Nice. Here to there. Beautiful. Small stained glass project like this probably retail around 10 or 15 bucks. Good for crafting, fun for crafting if you're into it. One of those dying art forms you don't see much of anymore. I love it. Just gotta make time for it, that's the whole thing. In a nutshell, it takes a lot of time. That's why I chose a small project, so you guys can see the full effect and beginning to end. There we go. And again, go around, seal all the edges. Make sure that glue gets into every crack and crevices to hold to that glass. Hold on tight, because you're going to get soldered. Pushed in toward the middle of the glass, so it's nice and smooth. Get out as many of the wrinkles as you can. Many as you can, many as you can. Boom, that's it right there. That's the last piece. Goes right there. Next is to solder. So, a few tricks of the trade. I forgot them, but I remember. There might be some here. Might have some in here. I'll run really quickly and grab some contacts, because those are a godsend and a lifesaver. All in one. Okay, back in Flash. I'm gonna go for a run. So there's some thumbtacks. And what I want to do is try and pin this together as close as possible without any gaps so we can get a good seal. So let's pin down the larger piece first. A couple spots to hold it. And the next one, I really want to cover that seam. Nice and close. This one, same deal. Nice and close. Place with the tacks. That's why I'm on a cork board, so I can pin it. Now here probably answers the question you might have had, why the cork board? So I can pin it. Looks good. See that? And then this here is some soldering paste, and what it does really is it cleans all the dust particles and stuff that's all around. So I'm going to take this, a little brush handy. These are the things that you forget to look for. There we go. Stained glass. Small little brush. Brush off. Right here. Don't worry, I don't have to run away on you. So here's a brush. You take this brush and get nice and nicely coated with some of this. It's almost like a grease. And then I'm going to go over all the copper with this, and it's going to help the solder stick. Kind of boils off all the dust up and out of the way, and gives a nice seal. So I go all the way around because then the solder grabs on nicely everywhere. Just not in the spots where my tacks are. Okay. Hopefully my soldering iron is nice and warm. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to put it on here. Looks like it. So the soldering iron needs to be clean too. Now that it's nice and hot, see it's kind of rusty looking. This stone right here, some miracles in cleaning the soldering iron. So I just rub it on here with a little force. Get that cord out of the way though. Cleaning off the soldering iron, all the excess material that's been on there for who knows how long, since the last time we've done it in stained glass. Just cleaning it, you can see it's starting to shine. That just cleans it off, and then I can get some direct contact heat in this thing here. Beautiful, look at that. Beautiful. Got a little sponge that's wet. I'm going to put in the tray of the soldering iron holder. So it goes right here in the tray, and I can just clean it off. Nice and wet. Looks good. Ready for solder. There's the holder. See? Gun holster. Boom. Move this a little closer to me. Done with that. It can go away. Actually, no, it can't because I have to do the other side. That in the brush. Cloth. This one can go away. The scissors I don't need. Out of the way. Boom. Here we go. So it's nice and clean. Just double checking that I got all the solder out of the way. Again with this, cleaning it off. And see how nice and shiny that is? It already has solder that I can use on it. Solder. Here's the solder. This is solder. Solder is, this one is 16 ounce. It's a 1 pound roll, and it's 50-50 solder. So 50 tin, 50 lead is what's in this solder. It's going to hold these stained glass project together. I use it for pipes. I get it at Home Depot. You know, it's cheaper by the spool at Home Depot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a drip of solder at every contact point to strengthen it. And then I can take my tacks out of the way. I don't have to worry about burning plastic. So I'm going to melt the solder, put a little drip like that. It's going to keep it joined together like the tacks are doing. Just in any of the areas that are exposed. Like so, like so, like so.